Stay silent, everything will come to you naturally. Dear friends and fellow dreamer, today I want to talk about something simple yet profound, the power of silence. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention, where everyone is rushing, shouting, trying to make their voices heard. We're often told that to succeed we must be loud, visible, and constantly moving. But what if I told you that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to stop, to just stay silent? Silence doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean retreating. It doesn't mean being passive. Silence is a state of being present in the moment without unnecessary distractions. Silence is where you listen to yourself, to the world around you, and to the wisdom that lies within. In this silence, you find clarity, you find peace. You start to understand that not everything in life needs to be forced, not every door needs to be kicked open. Sometimes the right opportunities come to you when you allow yourself to be still. We often struggle, believing that we must push harder, hustle more, prove our worth. But life has a funny way of working out. When you stop chasing, when you stop fighting with everything you have, you create space for the universe to align things in your favor. In silence, you begin to see the signs. In silence, you discover your own strength. You realize that you don't need to constantly shout your dreams from the rooftops for them to come true. Sometimes you just need to trust in the journey. Trust that things will unfold when the time is right. You see, life has a rhythm, and when we are constantly on the go, we miss it. The beauty, the lessons, the opportunities that are already there, waiting for us to notice. When you stay silent, everything comes to you naturally, effortlessly. So, my friends, the next time you find yourself caught up in the noise, remember this. The most powerful thing you can do is embrace silence. Let things come to you in their own time. Trust that the universe, your life, your destiny will unfold exactly as it should. And when it does, you'll realize that everything you ever needed was always there, in the stillness, waiting for you to notice. Silence is often misunderstood in today's world where noise is constantly around us. The world is in a constant state of movement, a never-ending cycle of noise, demands, and distractions. We are surrounded by a cacophony of voices, both external and internal, pulling us in every direction. People are always talking, sharing, promoting, selling. The media is ever present, flooding our minds with information, opinions, and advertisements. There is rarely a moment of calm, of stillness, to just be. In such an environment, silence is often seen as something negative, something to be avoided, or something that signifies inactivity and weakness. But in reality, silence is anything but passive. It is an active, powerful state that allows you to connect with yourself and the world in a way that constant noise and distraction never can. When we talk about silence being powerful, we are talking about a silence that comes not from withdrawing from life, but from engaging with it on a deeper, more meaningful level. This type of silence is not about shutting yourself off from the world. It is about being so deeply present in the moment that everything else fades away. It is about learning to listen to the quiet voice inside you, to the people around you, and to the world at large. Being silent does not mean that you are disengaging or surrendering to passivity. It is quite the opposite. Silence is an active choice to step out of the whirlwind of distractions and focus inward, to become attuned to what is important. It's a powerful act of self-awareness and self-control. In a world that is constantly demanding more from us, more noise, more opinions, more action, taking the time to be silent is revolutionary. It requires strength, courage, and the ability to resist the external pressures, to be constantly Think about moments when you've found yourself in silence, when you've stepped away from the noise, the hustle, the chaos of life. In those moments, did you find clarity? Did you realize something about yourself that you hadn't noticed before? Maybe it was a deeper understanding of your values, your goals, or your purpose. Maybe you were able to connect with someone in a way that felt more genuine, more real, because you were truly listening without the distraction of your own thoughts or the noise around you. Silence creates space for these kinds of realizations to happen. Without silence, there is no room for introspection. There is no room for true understanding. When we allow ourselves to be still and silent, we start to recognize our own inner strength. In the absence of constant stimulation, we can hear the quiet wisdom that resides within us. We begin to see things with more clarity without the distortion of external voices and distractions. It is in the silence that we learn to trust our intuition, to hear the quiet voice that guides us on our journey. This is not the silence of fear or withdrawal, but the silence of empowerment. It is in this silence that we tap into the power of our own presence. We are reminded that we are enough, just as we are, without needing to fill every moment with noise, every conversation with words. Another aspect of the power of silence is its ability to help us listen. Listening is an active skill, and it is a skill that is often drowned out by the noise around us. We tend to listen with the intention of responding, of offering our own opinion, of inserting ourselves into the conversation. But true listening, listening with an open heart and an open mind, requires us to be silent first. It requires us to hold back our own thoughts and judgments for a moment and to simply absorb what is being said. It is in this kind of listening that we form deeper connections with others, because we are not just hearing their words, we are hearing their hearts, their emotions, their needs. Silence also allows us to connect with the world in a deeper way. When we are constantly rushing from one thing to the next, we miss the subtle beauty that surrounds us. We miss the quiet moments, the soft rustling of leaves in the wind, the distant sound of birdsong, the stillness of early morning or late evening. These are the moments that offer us peace, that remind us of the simple beauty of life. In silence, we are able to hear these subtle sounds, to feel the presence of the world in a way that is impossible when we are distracted by the noise of daily life. Silence connects us to the present moment, helping us to appreciate the richness of life as it unfolds. Some people believe that silence is uncomfortable, that it feels awkward or unnatural. This belief often comes from the fear of being alone with our own thoughts. In a world that constantly fills our minds with information, we are rarely encouraged to simply be. But it is in those moments of silence that we truly get to know ourselves. We get to confront our fears, our insecurities, and our desires. We learn to sit with the discomfort, to be okay with not having all the answers. Silence teaches us that we don't need to constantly be doing something to feel valuable. Just being present in silence is enough. Silence also brings us closer to others. In a world where communication is often loud and fragmented, it's easy to forget that the most meaningful connections often happen in the quietest moments. Think about the times when you've shared a meaningful experience with someone. Perhaps it was sitting in silence together, without the need for words. Maybe you were watching a sunset, sharing a peaceful moment, or simply being in each other's presence. These moments, though silent, carry a depth and significance that words can't always capture. Silence has the power to connect us to others on a deeper, more authentic level, because it removes the need for validation through words or performance. In silence, we are simply together, and sometimes that is enough. In a way, silence is also a form of resistance. In a world that demands constant productivity, constant noise, and constant engagement, choosing silence is a rejection of these societal pressures. It's a declaration that we don't have to be constantly busy to be valuable. We don't have to fill every moment with activity or sound. Silence allows us to reclaim our time, to slow down, and to prioritize what really matters. In a sense, it is a form of self-care, a conscious decision to protect our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Another aspect of silence's power is its ability to heal. Often, when we are in pain or facing difficult emotions, we try to distract ourselves with noise. We reach for our phones, turn on the TV, or engage in conversation with others to avoid confronting what we're feeling. But silence, when embraced with mindfulness, can provide the space needed for healing. In the quiet, we can process our emotions, reflect on our experiences, and begin to heal from the inside out. Silence allows us to sit with our pain, to understand it, and to move through it with greater awareness and compassion. When we understand that silence is not passive, we realize that it is a vital tool for growth and transformation. It is in the silence that we can tune into our true selves, learn to listen deeply, connect with others, and find peace in a chaotic world. Silence doesn't ask us to do anything. It simply asks us to be. And in that being, we find our strength, our wisdom, and our power. Let us not view silence as something to be feared or avoided. Let us see it as a gift, a powerful tool that can guide us toward clarity, connection, and healing. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of everything that truly matters. In silence, we are reminded that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is nothing at all. And in doing nothing, we allow ourselves to be fully present, fully alive, and fully ourselves. In the midst of chaos and noise, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. Every day, we are bombarded with information, distractions, and demands on our time and energy. We're constantly told to move faster, to think louder, to push harder. But in this rush, we often lose clarity. We become overwhelmed by the noise of the world, and consequently, our ability to understand ourselves and the direction we need to take becomes clouded. It is only in silence that we can truly hear the soft, clear voice of our own intuition and find the peace we need to chart our path forward. Silence provides the space for us to step away from the noise that overwhelms our minds. It's easy to mistake noise for progress, to assume that if we're always doing something, we're moving toward our goals. But in truth, constant action without reflection can lead us astray. It's like walking through a fog, constantly moving, but never really knowing if we're on the right path. In silence, that fog begins to lift. The noise fades away, and what remains is a clear understanding of where we are and where we need to go. When we allow ourselves to sit in silence, we create the conditions for clarity to emerge. Often, clarity doesn't come in an instant. It's something that develops when we give ourselves the time and space to reflect, to think without interference. In the quiet, we can hear our thoughts without the distraction of external pressures, and we begin to see things more clearly. We start to understand what is truly important to us, what we need to let go of, and what steps we need to take to move forward. Peace accompanies clarity in silence. When we stop moving, stop talking, stop reacting, we find stillness. And in that stillness, there is a sense of calm that helps us see the bigger picture. Peace allows us to step back from the urgent demands of life and gain a sense of perspective. In the peace of silence, we are no longer driven by fear or anxiety about the future. Instead, we begin to trust ourselves and our ability to navigate whatever challenges may arise. This peace helps us see our situation from a more grounded perspective. When we're caught in the whirlwind of life, we often act out of stress, emotion, or impulse. We make decisions quickly without considering all angles, and sometimes these decisions lead us down the wrong path. But silence gives us the chance to step back and approach our challenges with a calm mind. With peace, we are better equipped to respond thoughtfully, to make choices that align with our true values and desires. In silence, we also gain insight into our own thoughts and emotions. Often the noise of the world drowns out the subtle signals our minds and bodies send us. We may feel disconnected from our own needs, desires, and fears because we are so caught up in the hustle and bustle around us. But when we take the time to sit in silence, we begin to reconnect with ourselves. We start to notice the emotions that we've been suppressing, the dreams we've been ignoring, the doubts we've been avoiding. These realizations are not always comfortable, but they are necessary for growth. It is only through acknowledging what lies within us that we can begin to chart a course forward. When we are able to hear ourselves clearly, it becomes easier to make decisions and take action. We gain a sense of purpose and direction that is often lost in the noise of our daily lives. Our goals become sharper, our path clearer, and we no longer feel as though we are wandering aimlessly. Silence helps us cut through the clutter and reconnect with the core of who we are and what we truly want from life. It brings us back to our true self, away from the distractions and pressures that can pull us in countless directions. The peace that comes with silence also helps us gain a sense of acceptance. When we're caught up in the noise of the world, it's easy to feel as though we must be constantly moving, constantly achieving, constantly proving ourselves. But silence teaches us that we don't have to do everything all at once. We don't have to have all the answers right away. Silence reminds us that we are not as we are, that we are not defined by our external achievements or the noise that surrounds us. We are defined by our inner peace, our clarity, and our ability to trust the process of life. In the stillness of silence, we also gain the ability to see things as they are without the distortion of external judgments or influences. We stop comparing ourselves to others, stop measuring our progress against the standards set by society or those around us. Instead, we begin to understand that our journey is unique, that the path ahead may not look like anyone else's, and that is okay. Silence helps us find peace in the present moment, knowing that we don't have to have everything figured out right now. The clarity and peace found in silence also help us to understand our relationships better. In the quiet, we can listen more deeply to others. We can hear not just their words, but the emotions and intentions behind them. When we remove the noise, we create space for real, authentic connections. It's easy to misunderstand or misinterpret others when we're distracted by our own thoughts or the noise of the world. But silence gives us the opportunity to truly hear and understand one another, leading to stronger and more meaningful relationships. It's in silence that we can see the path ahead with clarity. The noise of life may try to pull us in different directions, but in the stillness, we find the strength to discern the best course of action. Silence allows us to reconnect with ourselves, to find peace amidst the chaos, and to gain the clarity we need to move forward with purpose. It is in the quiet moments of reflection that we begin to understand the deeper truths about ourselves and our place in the world. And it is from this understanding that we can chart our path with confidence, knowing that we are moving in alignment with our true selves. In our fast-paced world, there's a constant pressure to keep moving, keep achieving, and always be chasing something. Whether it's success, recognition, love, or happiness, we are conditioned to believe that we must always be pursuing something, often at a relentless pace. We set goals, create plans, and throw ourselves into the pursuit of these dreams, hoping that the faster we move, the sooner we'll get what we want. But in this constant chase, we often overlook a fundamental truth. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to stop running and allow life to unfold in its own time. The act of chasing implies that what we seek is always ahead of us, just out of reach. It creates a sense of urgency and scarcity, as though we are running out of time or opportunities. But this mindset can often lead to frustration, burnout, and disappointment. The more we chase, the more we feel disconnected from the present moment, caught up in the idea of a future that always seems just beyond our grasp. We end up measuring our worth by how much we've accomplished or how much closer we are to our goals, rather than enjoying the journey itself. The chase becomes a cycle of striving without fulfillment. What if we stop seeing life as something we need to chase and instead viewed it as something that will unfold when the time is right? By stepping back and allowing life to come to us, we release the pressure of always striving, always trying to control the outcome. This doesn't mean that we stop working toward our goals or become passive in our approach to life. It simply means that we acknowledge that there is a natural flow to life, and sometimes we have to trust that things will fall into place at the right time. When we stop chasing, we begin to create space for opportunities and experiences to come to us. Instead of focusing all our energy on a specific outcome, we allow ourselves to be open to new possibilities. Life has a way of surprising us, of offering us paths we never could have predicted. Often, what we want and what we need are not the same, and by chasing after something too aggressively, we risk missing the greater gift that is quietly waiting for us. When we stop pushing so hard, we allow ourselves to be more receptive to what is meant for us. One of the challenges of stopping the chase is overcoming the fear that if we don't constantly pursue something, we'll miss out or fall behind. We live in a culture that celebrates constant activity, and it can feel as though we're doing something wrong if we're not always on the go. But the truth is, life isn't a race. There's no timeline that we need to meet, no deadline for happiness or success. Everyone's journey is different, and by letting go of the need to chase after what we think we should have by a certain point in our lives, we allow ourselves the freedom to follow our own rhythm. When we stop chasing, we also learn to appreciate the present moment more deeply. Chasing implies that we're always focused on the future, always thinking about what's next, but the present moment is where life truly happens. It's easy to overlook the beauty of what we already have in pursuit of what we think we need. By letting life unfold naturally, we shift our focus from a distant goal to the richness of the here and now. We start to notice the small moments, the everyday experiences that make up the fabric of our lives. In the process, we cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude for what is already present in our lives. Moreover, letting life unfold in its own time teaches us patience. Patience is often seen as a virtue, but in a world that encourages speed and instant gratification, it can feel like a lost art. Yet, when we trust in the process of life, we realize that some things cannot be rushed. Growth, healing, success, and even love all require time. Just as a plant needs time to grow, so do our dreams. They need the right conditions, nurturing, and space to unfold in their own time. Trying to force things to make them happen on our own timeline can sometimes cause more harm than good. When we allow life to unfold naturally, we give ourselves the gift of patience and trust in the process. Stopping the chase also invites us to reflect on the reasons behind our desires. When we constantly chase after something, we often do so without fully understanding why we want it. Are we chasing success because it will bring us fulfillment, or because society has told us that success equals worth? Are we pursuing a relationship because we truly want connection, or because we fear being alone? Stopping the chase gives us the time to reflect on what we truly desire and whether those desires align with our authentic self. It's in these moments of pause that we realize that what we seek isn't always what we truly need. Another powerful aspect of letting life unfold naturally is that it fosters trust. Trust in ourselves, trust in the process, and trust in the universe. When we stop chasing, we acknowledge that we don't have to control every aspect of our lives. We learn to let go of the need for certainty and perfection, and we trust that the universe has a way of guiding us toward what is meant for us. This trust is liberating. It allows us to relinquish our grip on the outcome and simply allow things to happen as they are meant to. In doing so, we cultivate a deep sense of peace and acceptance. Letting life unfold naturally also frees us from the fear of failure. When we're constantly chasing something, there's always a sense of pressure to succeed. But when we stop chasing, we take the weight of failure off our shoulders. We begin to realize that life is not about constantly reaching some end goal, but about living in the flow of the moment and embracing the journey. Whether we achieve what we set out to do or not, we understand that every experience is valuable and every step is part of the process. The more we allow life to unfold naturally, the more we realize that things come to us when we are ready for them. Whether it's a job, a relationship, or an opportunity, we attract what is meant for us when we are in alignment with our true self. By taking a step back and letting go of the need to chase, we create space for these things to come to us effortlessly. Trusting the journey of life can be one of the most difficult yet liberating things we can do. From a young age, we are taught to plan, to structure, and to control as much as possible. We are encouraged to set goals, follow paths, and work tirelessly to ensure that everything goes according to plan. However, life often has a way of taking us in unexpected directions, showing us that control is not always possible. At times, it can feel like we are at the mercy of circumstances, wandering without direction, uncertain of the next step. In these moments, the greatest gift we can give ourselves is to trust the journey and embrace the rhythm of life. Life doesn't unfold according to a strict schedule. We don't always know where the path will lead, and that uncertainty can be unsettling. We might be tempted to resist change or try to force things to happen in a way that fits our expectations. But the truth is, life has its own rhythm, its own pace, and its own timing. We can't control everything, but we can choose how we respond to what comes our way. When we trust the journey, we learn to let go of the need for certainty and embrace the unfolding process. Trusting the journey doesn't mean sitting idly by and waiting for things to happen. It means accepting that some things are beyond our control and choosing to engage with life in a way that allows us to move with its flow. Rather than pushing against the current, we learn to flow with it, adapting to the changes that come and finding meaning in the moments along the way. When we embrace life's rhythm, we start to notice how things align in unexpected ways. Opportunities present themselves when we least expect them, and challenges arise that help us grow even if they don't initially make sense. The rhythm of life is not always steady or predictable. There are times when everything seems to fall into place effortlessly, and other times when we feel as though we're struggling to keep up. These fluctuations are part of the natural flow of life. If we try to resist the ebb and flow, we can find ourselves feeling frustrated, anxious, or defeated. But when we trust the rhythm of life, we come to understand that these ups and downs are not obstacles, but essential parts of our growth. The moments of calm are just as important as the moments of challenge. Together, they help us become stronger, more resilient, and more aware of the richness of life. Trusting the journey also means allowing ourselves the space to grow at our own pace. In a world that often values speed and instant results, it can be easy to feel like we're falling behind if things aren't happening as quickly as we want them to. We compare ourselves to others, measuring our progress against their achievements, and sometimes feel like we're not doing enough. But growth is a deeply personal process, and it doesn't always follow a linear path. Each of us moves at our own rhythm, and trusting the journey means accepting that our timing may be different from someone else's. There's no need to rush or force things. By trusting that we are exactly where we need to be at any given moment, we free ourselves from the pressure to meet others' expectations. When we trust the journey, we also allow ourselves to be more open to new experiences. We stop clinging so tightly to a specific vision of how our lives should be and instead become more receptive to the possibilities that arise. Trusting the journey invites us to take risks, to step into the unknown with faith that we will be guided. This openness is what allows us to grow, to evolve, and to discover new things about ourselves. Often, the most profound lessons in life come when we least expect them, in moments that seem uncertain or unfamiliar. By embracing the unknown, we open ourselves up to the fullness of the experience, knowing that even in times of uncertainty, we are being shaped by life's rhythm. There is also a deep sense of peace that comes with trusting the journey. Life's natural flow can seem chaotic at times, but when we trust that everything is unfolding as it should, we let go of the need to control the outcome. We no longer feel the need to have all the answers or to know exactly what will happen next. We learn to live in the present moment, accepting that we don't have to have everything figured out right away, because we don't have to have everything figured out right away. Life is a series of unfolding steps, each one leading us closer to where we need to be. When we trust the journey, we find that there is a deep comfort in simply being present with whatever comes our way, rather than constantly worrying about what might happen in the future. Embracing the rhythm of life also teaches us the importance of patience. We may feel frustrated when things don't move as quickly as we want, but patience is key to trusting the process. Growth, change, and success all take time. Trusting the journey means recognizing that the things we want most are worth waiting for. It means understanding that the work we put in now, even if it doesn't immediately lead to results, is part of the foundation that will support us in the future. By embracing the rhythm of life, we learn to be patient with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. In moments of doubt or uncertainty, trusting the journey provides us with the courage to keep moving forward. We may not always know what the future holds, but we can have faith that each step we take, no matter how small, is bringing us closer to where we need to be. Life's rhythm is always moving, and by trusting it, we tap into a sense of direction and purpose that transcends our immediate concerns. Even when the path seems unclear, we trust that we are exactly where we are meant to be at this moment in time. There will always be moments of doubt and fear, times when we question whether we are on the right path or if we've made the wrong choices. But trusting the journey means believing that every experience, every challenge, every twist and turn is part of a larger, unfolding story. We may not always understand the bigger picture, but we trust that we are being guided and that everything is happening for our growth. By embracing the rhythm of life, we accept that the journey itself holds the answers and that we don't need to have everything figured out ahead of time. Trusting the journey means living in the flow, being open to what comes, and knowing that in the end, we are always on the right path. In our fast-paced world, patience often seems like a rare and undervalued virtue. We live in a time where immediate gratification is not just desired but expected. From instant messaging to rapid delivery services, everything is available at the push of a button. We are conditioned to believe that things should happen quickly and without delay. Yet one of the most important lessons we can learn is that patience and faith in the process are powerful forces in our lives, and they have the ability to bring us everything we need, but only at the right time. Patience doesn't simply mean waiting. It's not about enduring a difficult situation or putting life on pause while we wait for something to change. True patience is an active practice. It's the ability to stay grounded and peaceful while things unfold at their own pace. It is trusting that everything has its own time and that rushing or forcing things won't yield better results. Patience is a sign of confidence in the process, the understanding that there are natural rhythms and cycles to life that cannot be rushed. Things happen when they are meant to, and trying to speed things up can lead to unnecessary stress, missed opportunities, or the disappointment of unripe fruits. Having faith in the process means trusting that life is unfolding exactly as it should, even if we cannot always see the whole picture. We often spend a lot of energy worrying about how things will turn out or whether we're taking the right steps toward our goals. But faith in the process teaches us that despite uncertainty, everything we are going through is part of a larger plan. We may not have all the answers, but we can trust that what we need will come to us when the time is right. The work we put in, the lessons we learn along the way, and the challenges we face all contribute to our growth and development, whether we realize it at the moment or not. It's easy to get discouraged when we feel like things aren't moving fast enough or when we don't see immediate results. We live in a world that celebrates instant success and quick wins, and the idea that patience is a path to success can sometimes seem counterintuitive. But history is filled with examples of people who achieved great things because they were willing to wait, to trust, and to remain patient throughout the process. The most profound achievements in life often come after long periods of hard work, dedication, and yes, patience. The journey itself prepares us for the reward, shaping us into the person we need to become before we can fully appreciate the fruits of our labor. Faith in the process doesn't mean we stop working toward our goals. It doesn't mean that we should become passive or complacent. Patience, when combined with effort and persistence, can move mountains. It's about trusting that every step we take, no matter how small, is moving us closer to our destination. Sometimes we may not be able to see immediate progress, and that can be frustrating. But true faith is the belief that every experience, whether it seems positive or negative at the time, is shaping us, building our resilience, and preparing us for what is to come. This process is often like planting seeds. When we plant a seed, we don't expect it to sprout and grow overnight. It takes time, nurturing, and care. We trust that in due time, the seed will grow into something beautiful and meaningful. Similarly, our dreams and goals require time to take root. At times, the waiting can feel difficult, and it may seem as though nothing is happening, but in reality, growth is happening beneath the surface. The soil is being prepared, the roots are being formed, and when the time is right, the plant will rise above the soil and flourish. Trusting the process means understanding that our efforts are not in vain, even if we can't see immediate results. When we have patience, we also allow ourselves to be more open to the lessons that life has to offer. Often we get so focused on the outcome that we forget to pay attention to the journey. Yet the journey is where the most important lessons are learned. It's where we build character, develop resilience, and gain wisdom. When we trust the process, we are able to step back and view our experiences with a sense of perspective. Even setbacks and challenges become opportunities for growth rather than obstacles standing in our way. Through patience, we learn to accept and appreciate the journey for what it is, not just for the end result we are striving toward. Patience and faith in the process also require us to let go of the need for control. We all have our own ideas of how life should unfold, and it's natural to want to make things happen according to our plans. However, no matter how carefully we design our path, there are always unforeseen circumstances that arise. Life's unpredictability is part of what makes it beautiful, and learning to flow with it rather than fighting against it is key to developing patience patience. When we trust the process, we surrender the need to control every aspect of our lives. Instead of trying to force outcomes, we allow life to unfold with its own timing, knowing that what's meant for us will come to us in the right way and at the right moment. It's also important to recognize that patience doesn't just apply to our own goals and desires. It also extends to how we relate to others. Relationships take time to grow and develop, and sometimes we can be impatient with others' progress or with the pace of change in our relationships. Whether it's waiting for someone to understand something or allowing others the space to grow, patience with those around us fosters deeper, more meaningful connections. By having faith in the process, we allow others the time they need to grow and evolve, just as we are learning to do. Patience and faith in the process are about trust. Trust that life has its own timing and that everything is unfolding for our highest good, even when we can't see how.